We want to thank you for taking the time joining us on Drummer's Paradise today. We truly do appreciate the support. And if you can please click that subscribe button, the like button, and that notification bell. It truly will help the community grow. Now, without further ado,
we have an animal behind the kit joining us today from Midland, Ontario, Jake Hamilton. This man has been playing drums for the Android meme, A Primitive Evolution. We are very excited to get to know Jake and what drives his passion for groove. But first, let's check out this wicked video of him crushing the kit.
Let's check it.
Adam.
Yeah, T, that was killer.
That was killer, right?
Wow. Good job, man.
Thanks,
You're awesome
buddy.
on the kit. You're awesome behind the kit.
Oh, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's tall praise coming from yourselves. So.
Thanks for joining us, too.
Oh, no, thank you for having me. This is really cool.
Awesome. Now, let's dive in and get to know you a little bit.
Sure.
All right. Where are you from? Like, where's your hometown? Fill us in a little bit.
Yeah. So I grew up in Midland, Ontario. Mm-hmm. I was born in Toronto in the West End. Back then, it was its own city, Etobicoke. And when I was really, really young, we moved up to Midland. And at the time, parts of Toronto were starting to become like very unsafe for like the first time, really, in that area. And my parents decided, you know what, let's trade in the city life for the slower kind of northern experience.
Lots of snow life.
Yeah, maybe didn't realize how big of a part of it that would be at first, but yeah. So grew up in Midland, Ontario, which is on Georgian Bay, and likewise grew up performing predominantly in that region. Until I was in high school. I co-founded a band in high school called X Among Y that used to play in Barrie quite a bit. Right. We had placed in, I think it was third in the Rock 95 Local and Loud contest in 2005 or 6.
Oh, that's fun.
It would have been. And so we got some songs we had played on Rock 95, and that kind of opened my eyes to like wanting to maybe pursue an actual career in the industry to some capacity, realizing like where things could go. So pretty much from that moment, I tried to gear most of my life towards improving my craft and learning new things. Started getting involved in learning production, electronic music, and MIDI when I was in about 11th or 12th grade.
Amazing.
And then after that, moved to Toronto and was around the GTA for a little while. Joined the Android meme in 2009. I left the band for a time and then basically from there formed a few other bands in the in-between. And then COVID kind of showed up and shocked everybody.
It just shut everything down.
COVID
really
ruined it all.
It just slapped the industry up. Stabilized it.
Just wild, right? And we were all kind of sitting, and I was feeling really uncertain about where it was going to go at the time, because up until that point, I had been really achieving good success as like a drummer for hire. I was getting a lot of calls and a lot of gigs and stuff, and so it was constantly coming in, which was fantastic. It was like felt like really the first time in my life that I felt like, I really could maybe make a living at this. And I did my first tour of the United States in 2019 with A Primitive Evolution and Pig.
I've heard Pig.
Yeah, and that was really eye-opening. Met some cool people down there. Ended up co-founding a small record label with some guys I met while I was on that tour.
Okay, nice.
And everything just seemed so positive. I got a Cymbal endorsement during that time through a contact down there. And then COVID just smacked everything, right? And it just felt very defeating. And so we were kind of just sitting around like everybody else, like you guys, and during COVID, really just working on stuff at home.
Writing.
That's all anybody could do.
Exactly.
And then one day I got a call from Stefano, and he was like, hey, did you want to maybe have some fun and make some music? And I was like, yeah. And he kind of came up, and we were experimenting with things, and we started putting a song together, and we hadn't rehearsed together or performed live together in years at that point. And he was saying, like, this song that we're working on, do you think this could be the Android meme? And I was like, I think it could actually. Like, it could be that. We could maybe bring that back and begin again.
Right.
And so that was really the impetus.
Okay.
Right there was that uncertainty during COVID. And then from that moment on, we've just been
It's a rebirth.
just hammering it.
Yeah, like a rebirth tea. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. And so, since that moment in the middle of 2021 there, we've just been trying to steamroll as much as we can. Got trying to keep consistent singles coming out on streaming, and also trying to figure out how to play that game.
Nice.
And learn more about that industry too, because it would have been nice, but I always say to people I was born in the wrong time period.
Okay.
I just missed where, the era where you go and play Lollapalooza with your band on the terrible stage
Yes.
for a few years.
Yes.
And then eventually you get bigger.
Yes.
I just missed that time period, and then all of a sudden it was all about getting on the internet and streaming and having an online presence. And I didn't know how to do any of that. So that's kind of the new game. And
It is the new game. It really is.
yeah, so
Changed everything.
I've been very humble about it, and I've been trying to learn a lot from a lot of people, asking a lot of questions and
Listening a lot.
listening
Right?
a lot.
Yeah, it's important.
Hearing people out, hearing what people's experiences are and where to go.
Right?
And it's been super, super enlightening, but also very challenging at times.
Yeah, it would be.
But I wouldn't trade it for the world. This is what we do, right?
Fantastic.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So, Jake, what influences were in your life that got you into playing drums, and how old were you when it all began for you?
Yeah. So music was kind of always there around in the background. Ever since I was really little, my mom said that she always tells me, I who knows how true this is? Like, our moms love to tell us stories, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And they love us, so they embellish some things here and there, maybe. But my mom always said to me, she's like, you were always like hitting things like with spoons and stuff, or with sticks and
Playing the pots and pans.
and she's like, and it seemed to me like you were trying to do something, or there was something there, and you kind of maybe understood it. She's like, so I was saying to your dad, like, man, like, we should get him drums. Like, maybe he could pick that up. Maybe that'd be something he could pick up. And then I must have been like, I was probably like 12 or 13. I was home during the summer break from school. I think I was like going into grade 7 maybe, or 8. And my dad was cleaning out the basement and found all these old tapes, concert tapes and stuff. And we were watching some of his old Rush concert tapes.
Okay.
He grew up huge Rush fan.
Right.
He's pretty much just a Toronto music fan in general. So like I really bonded with my dad over music.
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
In my life, and he showed me Rush, and that quickly became like my favorite band when I was young. And as soon as I saw Neil Peart do the Neil Peart drum solo, Neil Peart, like I was like, I want to be that man.
Idolizing him from there on.
Yeah, and like, it's ridiculous. Nobody's ever going to be that man, but like, it was like a wow factor, like this beating in my heart, you know. And I was just like, I need to play drums, like I gotta.
It's in me.
And so from that moment on, I was just like, whatever I got to do, you know. And I told my parents, I was like, I will shovel driveways, I will cut lawns. Get me the drum kit, please, I beg you.
Yeah. Well, it's super cool to have supportive parents too.
Very blessed, yeah.
You know, that kind of guided you and helped you
harvest that craft.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh yeah,
it's so important.
So lucky. It's grown up, super lucky. You know, because I gotta say, like I've rehearsed and played with a lot of musicians who really, really, truly came from nothing and had no support. And I'm so unbelievably grateful to have had the support that I've had because, you know, I look at some people and what they've gone through to get to where they are.
It's so true.
And I just think, man, I don't know if I would have made it. You know what I mean? So I'm so grateful for the support I've had.
That's wicked, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. So tell us a bit about gear that you play on.
Sure.
Yeah, what kind of kit?
My main kit for most stuff that I do would be my Ludwig kit. I have an Accent Custom Elite Series 2006.
Nice.
I got that probably when I was like 18 years old, and I like customized it over time. It's like an orange kit, and I got it because I have orange hair.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's
like meaning behind it.
Yeah, there you go. I got that, and you know, I was like 18, and that was after you know, retiring the old beater kit finally, which was.
I was just gonna say, what was the?
Yeah,
I'm curious. I'm curious here.
Oh yeah, you gotta know. It was like a used like 1995 like Westbury percussion kit. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was all faded and everything. But you know what? I got amazing use out of it and I got it sounding pretty good too, because you know, as a musician when you start out, you just kind of make use of what you got, right?
Yes, it's true.
And that's what I did, and yeah, I was happy with it. I you know, in the moment felt blessed, so I was just like, I'm just gonna roll with this. And then finally, when I did get the new kit, it was like a whole new world, whole new planet.
Yes.
With the Android Meme, I play a Yamaha Oak Custom kit, which is black, and it's like decked out with our logos and stuff.
Fun.
And then I have like a cheap like Chinese Baojia kit that I use to play bars and stuff. It's small, it fits in the car.
The toss around.
yeah. You know.
What kind of snare drum you got running?
I got two that I go back and forth between predominantly. I got a lot of snare drums, but I only use two consistently.
Okay.
My primary one for the longest time, the one I would have toured the States with and toured Canada with, would have been my Ludwig Accent Custom Elite snare. It was a 6.5 inch birch, 9-ply birch, I believe. It's really nice, thick, you know, woody tone. It's got a nice thwack to it.
Okay.
But then I have this 1985 Tama Imperial Star steel snare.
Yeah, it's different sound.
And that one is like a 7-inch, and
It's very deep drum.
it's deeper, and it was back when they used to have that tension rod in them that you could adjust to make it sound a little bit more tubey.
Okay.
It's got a great snap to it because it's the 10 screw rim.
Okay.
My Ludwig is the
tight, nice
the
and
6
even.
screw.
Right. Yes. Okay.
Or the 8 screw, whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel like the Ludwig is great for like driving rock beats, doom, stuff like that. And then the Tama Imperial Star is definitely better for metal and like pop punk and fast stuff, hardcore.
For sure, yeah.
But then I also have a little Mapex piccolo snare, a 3.5 inch by 13. And that little thing, it's got some ping to it,
Nice ping on piccolos,
but if you tune it up nice, it's a great little club snare for like small clubs and like bars and grills and things like that.
It's controllable.
Yeah, it's very controllable, definitely optimal for like the small venue.
Nice.
So tend to go back and forth between those guys.
Why don't you tell us about the cymbal sponsor you have and some of your cymbals?
Yeah. So I got hooked up. It would have been around 2020. I got hooked up with Saluda Cymbals. They're based down in South Carolina. Great cymbal company. Really like grassroots, community oriented. I love that about them. And they make great stuff. And they do a lot of custom designs
Nice.
for drummers, which I love. Like when you email them and talk about what you want to do, they'll talk with you and be like, oh, like sky's the limit. Like, how do you want them to look? What kind of finish do you want on them? What do you want? What do you want the name to look like? The brand name and stuff. Like, what color do you want it?
Yeah. So they give you options.
And they're like, oh, we can like acid wash them or like whatever. They put cool designs on them. My line, I got mine are called the Nemesis series. And they have these cool like target rings on them. They look like spiral like targets.
So if they spin, they kind of
it would probably be a neat effect. Yeah. So I got hooked up with those guys about 5 years ago. I met them through Galen Whaling, who is the drummer for Pig, Lords of Acid, and Julian K. I met him while I was touring with a Primitive Evolution in 2019, and played every night with him for the better part of a month and a bit, and we had a lot of good times and got to know each other a little bit, and geeked out about drum stuff. And he pretty much every show he would ask me, how do my cymbals sound? Like, what do you think about them? I'm thinking about doing this with this one and this with this one. And I was like, yeah, like, tell me about your cymbals. And he kind of explained it to me. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then, like, I kept in touch with him after the tour. And I was like, I wouldn't mind talking to those guys. So he, like, gave me the contact information, and I arranged to speak with one of the reps. And we had a good talk, and they offered me the endorsement there. And, yeah, it's been really cool. And love repping them. They're they're an American company, and and I love to support Canada, but the drumming community is a worldwide community.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It's international. Slice it.
It's an international community, and we get, regardless of where we're from, we all do a lot better when we all stick together. So I'm proud to support those guys.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
Oh, thanks, man.
So, Jake, are you self-taught? Have you had instruction of any kind? Any sort of lessons?
I began self-taught. For the most part, I'm self-taught. Lessons, like I probably could have done structured lessons. I didn't really feel like it was an option for me, because it was like pay for the lessons or like pay for gear.
Okay.
And I was just really invested, and I was like near obsessed with the craft. So like, I was, while everybody, like I was a kid, I was 14, 15 when I was really first getting into it. And I just really, really got deep in. And so whether this is a consequence or not, while all my friends were kind of out partying and drinking and meeting girls and stuff, I was at home.
You're like, at home practicing.
Sounds familiar.
I was at home. I would play and like have a movie on the TV and on the VCR, and like I'd be like watching a movie with no sound and just playing drums for like 3 hours. And I just got super obsessed with it, and every time I played a gig, I used to just say to myself, even when I was 15 years old playing my first gigs, I used to just say to myself, just go out there and just destroy the destroy the kit, like do what you got to do to be the best. And
yes.
And I've kind of, that's just what I say to myself before I play, because like, as much as like you shouldn't take it so seriously that you're hurting yourself in a way.
Yeah.
You don't want to burden yourself. You want to love it, which I do. I adore it. But at the same time, I like we talked about a little earlier before the podcast, I actually was diagnosed with ADHD recently, which has shed light on so much in my life, actually. And it kind of unlocked huge realizations in music for me because there were certain things that I had some minor barriers with that would have maybe come naturally to some people, but for me, like I maybe struggled at first to figure them out and would have to come up with like some tricks in my mind to remember them and do it properly. And I never really understood why. I always used to say, oh, maybe it's because I'm self-taught. But very quickly when I started watching like cognitive therapy videos and stuff for my ADHD, I started realizing as they were explaining stuff, I started realizing, oh my God, I was doing that.
Your eyes were opening. Oh.
I was just like, so that's it. I'm not super dumb after all.
It's an awakening experience, right?
Yeah. So with that in mind, you know, now as I find as long as I hold myself accountable, like I can usually get it done. So that's been a nice awakening to have and kind of boosted the confidence a little bit.
Nice. So with so much information out there nowadays, where do you suggest young, inspiring drummers go to get their foundation down?
Honestly, man, like there's so many resources now.
So much.
So many resources now. So many amazing young drummers.
And vice versa.
And vice versa.
Unfortunately.
Are learning purely online just from watching people. And I mean, you know, that probably just speaks to the human experience. I mean, we're a very watch and learn, you know, race of beings.
Yes.
Typically, if we see something and we're interested enough in it, we'll probably be able to pick part of it up.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I would say that's the best resource is just find out what it is that you like and then just dive way in and just keep going. Don't stop. Be humble. Ask lots of questions. And also be patient and don't be too hard on yourself because, you know, with time, things will come together.
I always say that. It's like drums is a journey.
It is.
If you have the passion for drums and you have that's your lifestyle and that's what fulfills your happiness inside, it's a lifelong commitment to the craft and to the instrument in order for you to study. If you learned everything right away within a year, what fun is that? You want it to continuously be challenging and it challenges yourself on learning different variations on how to do things. Right?
I know the challenge pushes me. That gives me the motivation. You know, you get it deterred a bit, but then you take that, you know, couple day break, jump back into it, and you've now, what was hard is a little easier now, and you can progress further. Right?
Yeah. Sure. I have a habit of, like I was saying before the podcast that I have a habit of like going more intense at the end of the practice so that when I come back to it, the easy stuff feels very joyful and very, very easy, even easier. And as I find that as long as I keep that loop going, it's like really, really good for confidence building. Yeah. But, you know, and I still got to remember to like challenge myself. You know, I'm 36. I've been playing drums for probably 22 years. And there's still so much to learn. There's so much to learn.
Never ends.
It's never going to end.
I'm just always learning, and I just love learning. So
it ends when you walk away, I think.
That's it.
That's the only time
it ends. Don't walk away, kids.
Don't walk away.
Don't walk away.
Don't
you can do it. You can do it.
That's a life regret.
Yeah.
Right? It would be.
Walk towards it. Yeah.
Chase it.
So, Jake, what do you feel some of the key ingredients in developing a solid foundation today to become a drummer?
Great question, T.
Definitely. So number one is patience. If you have a habit of quitting when you fail, you're gonna be disappointed quickly. So definitely don't be afraid to make mistakes. You know, you have to make all the mistakes before you can learn to do it right even once.
Before you can grow.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you know, so don't be afraid. Don't feel held back by what you can't do.
Absolutely.
Just remind yourself like, hey, it ain't going anywhere. I just got to get there, and I will get there. So that patience, that humility, watch, listen, and ask lots of questions. Those are great things for me that I think really helped me out. And get to know other drummers and see what they're up to. See like what some of their methods are. What are some of their practice regimens? Maybe they've figured out an easier way to do something that nobody else has yet.
It's very true.
And just keep all of it in your back pocket, and just when you're looking for something to practice, be like, oh yeah, that thing I was talking to that one drummer about, and practice that. And not only will you grow, but you're bonding the drum community, and we're all learning from each other.
That's true. Yeah.
And we're all that's how we're all going to get better together. And and you know what? Honestly, I like I said, I'm self-taught, but take lessons. Definitely take lessons if you can. If you can afford to take lessons, do it. Whether it's online or whatever, because there are some really, really phenomenal next level guys out there, like high level drummers that will give you lessons.
Yes, they will.
And it will probably be extremely valuable. Extremely valuable.
What they've taken in years and years and years of hard work, they can share with you within a certain time, right? So it really cuts the time out of that.
Oh, absolutely.
And you could always learn something from someone.
Absolutely.
Always.
And don't be afraid to listen to new music. Expand your musical horizons. Keep listening to new bands, listening to new genres, challenging yourself in that way. Be like, like, for example, I find it a little bit hard to listen to country, like my mom doesn't.
Some people don't.
but I do. But every once in a while, I think to myself, well, what are those country guys doing? What are they playing like? What makes a country drummer in demand in the country music market? And so I'll go and I'll watch some of those drummers and see what's going on. And you wouldn't believe people's face when, I'm playing in like a metal band and they're like, yo, where'd you learn that sweet little thing? I'm like, oh, from this country drummer.
The look on their face, right?
Yeah, they're just like, what?
Well, those are all great answers, Jake.
Yeah,
thanks,
We
man.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us in a little bit when you started playing live and if that developed into bigger shows like, festivals and things like that?
Sure. Started playing live. I played drums in front of an audience for the first time when I was 13. 13 or 14. And that would have been at my elementary school for a talent show or something.
Fun, yeah. That's good.
You know what, I got to say something?
What's that?
Everyone got to play at a talent show or at their school.
I did in my high school. I did.
You never got that?
I never got that.
No.
I just wanted to throw that in.
Oh, man.
That.
Man, Tyler's been ripped off.
At Downsview, they weren't having any of that at my high school.
No.
Oh,
no.
no. Oh, wild.
Yeah,
wild.
It was wild. So it's cool to hear another story of someone getting to perform at their high school.
And it was, like I said, a confidence boost. And I went up there and played some Rush stuff that I memorized. And, and then when I was in grade 9, I met this guy, Kyle, who is the younger brother of Brett, actually, from A Primitive Evolution.
Okay, yeah.
So that's kind of how our circles kind of met each other.
Brett Crothers.
Yeah,
Yes.
Brett Crothers, yeah. Yeah, so my band X Among Y had opened for this band Alpha Galati's and Jackalope. Jackalope was Dave the Rave from Skinny Puppy.
Okay.
And then Matt was singing and playing drums in Alpha Galati's. And they had just been signed to EMI, so there was a lot of buzz around them, and they were going to play Rock am Ring in Germany.
Oh, fun.
So I started hanging out with those guys a little bit, and that's how I got introduced to Stefano from the Android Meme, and he had said like, we're looking for a drummer because Matt is getting really tied up again with Alpha Galates, and we need a drummer because who can like play to a click really well because we do backing tracks, but it's not easy because it's also kind of like industrially, but also a bit proggy in parts. And he's like, so it's been difficult finding somebody who's the right fit.
As it would be, I'm sure.
Yeah, and he had told me, but like he said that like Bailey and Brett had said like, oh well, he listens to like Rush and stuff like that, and like he's probably like one of the ideal options.
Yeah.
So I went and tried out, and like we just bonded really well, and played, did some regional touring with those guys. We ended up getting signed to Magna Carta Records in New York, which is like a prog music label. It was kind of a weird signing because like I never really felt like they really fit us. We had like a couple proggy elements in some songs, but the rest of the songs were like a little bit more straightforward, and I still don't really understand why that label signed us to this day.
They saw potential,
but it ended up not being the greatest deal for either party, I guess, and we ended up going separate ways. But around that time, I ended up leaving the band over some creative differences and stuff at the time, and I ended up forming another band called Between Transit, which is now called Crisis Control Club. They're still going.
Okay.
And we kind of set up our home base at the Rock Pile in Toronto and started playing there every weekend. And that kind of became the new home for me for a while. Over the years, came back and was doing music up here more again. And I formed Cassidy with Shane Fernier from Penetang there, and John Edwards, and we had a couple great years, some really fun like hardcore punk kind of music. Playing the Fox Lounge, I believe, with a couple of your bands.
Yes, you have.
A couple times.
Yes, we have.
And that's how we met. So that's fantastic. I love that connection.
Yeah, the community.
Shane Heath, eh? Oh man, love the guy.
Love the guy, miss the guy.
Dude, miss him so much. He like so many good memories of that venue. It was because for a long time Barrie felt like it was struggling to hold a music scene together.
Yeah,
and then it felt for some years there, it felt like the Fox Lounge became the new home for everybody, and it really, for the first time in a long time, felt so together.
It was together a hub. It was the community so tight. It was nice.
It was awesome. I loved how we would all hang out in the kitchen in the back and stuff. That was awesome.
It was just open everywhere.
Yeah. Bands would just like roll in and just be like, "Yo, what's up?" And Shade would just be like, "What's up?" Those are good days.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
But yeah, and then that kind of more or less like led right into the COVID stuff, and after my US touring, and that's how I ended up we ended up putting the Android Meme back together, and starting again, and we actually got a new member 2 years ago named Vicky. She's our bassist, and Matthias is still in the band on guitar from like 15 years ago. So we've all, we've all known each other for a long time, and we're all very tightly knit. We've all been in all kinds of other bands, and Victoria was in a band called Phantom High.
Oh, I know Phantom High.
Yeah.
Local Toronto band doing pretty good.
Yeah, they're great. Love those guys. Can't say enough nice things about them. And we played a few shows with them, always super fun. We just played a show with them and the band Barrie from Oshawa. We played in Oshawa at the Atria, and that was like one of the best shows I felt like we've done with like our friends' bands in a long time. It was really, really fun, and that was pretty much the end of the year for us.
Okay.
We ended up taking some time to focus on content for the winter.
Yes.
And,
write some more, get a record together maybe.
Yeah, and figure out the social media angle, because we released an EP in 2023 on vinyl and CD and digitally and everything, and it did well for what it was. But we still hadn't really figured out the social media at the time. So we're really trying to just learn as much as we can about that.
So as all drummers here in rock and roll, everyone's got a great road story. Jake, would you be comfortable with giving us one of your favorite road stories that you may have?
Oh man, I gotta think maybe.
It's like there's just too many.
Yeah, well, I'll keep the sketchy ones back where they belong, because we've all been there, in our young lives. But one time, so this would have been 2019. I was on tour in the States. It's really the first time I'd ever toured with a big band, and we were touring with Pig, which is Raymond Watts and Esh from KMFDM.
Yep. Okay.
It's like their other band, and Steve White, who is also in KMFDM, and he's
Great
also in the band 16 Volt. And then Galen was their drummer, and like we were playing. Where was it? It was funny. We had just done, I think it was a sold out show in Brooklyn for this event called Stimulate. And that was at St. Vitus Bar in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. And it was just awesome. Like my first time playing in New York City, and it's a packed, tight, like sold out show.
Amazing.
It was an amazing experience. The experience of not getting out of there till like 5 a.m. was not so amazing, but like what blew my mind actually was the next day, I think it was, we were over in Wilmington, Delaware. And we were playing at this club called Bar 13 in Wilmington. Okay. And I guess this club is like known by a lot of the bands that we had been playing with. And they all kept saying like, oh, Bar 13 is the best. They're so friendly. The staff are awesome. They have like go-go dancers and stuff. Everybody's super nice. They got great food. So we were like, okay, we get there, and it's like this little goth club on this country road. Oh. And like
middle of nowhere kind of thing?
That like it wasn't really, but it felt like it was based on the layout of the immediate area. Lots of trees everywhere and stuff. And it almost felt like Roadhouse for a moment when we pulled in. And I remember they had this like skull in the window. And it had like it was fake, obviously, but it was like fake decayed flesh on it. It was really gothy and intense, and I was just like, okay. Anyway, we go in, and it was like it is the first time this has really happened. So we're sitting there in the green room, and I'm just sitting there on my phone, and I was talking to my buddy Tall, who was playing at the time in the band Cyanotic. And we were just shooting the breeze, and all of a sudden, like, the go-go dancer girls show up, and one of them just walks in, and she's just like, oh, hey, guys, how are you? And we're like, hey, good, how are you doing? And she's like, good. She's like, I'm so sorry, I'm in a rush, I just gotta get changed, I don't really have time to talk, but it was nice meeting you. And we're like, oh, okay. She just walks in front of us and just starts taking her clothes off and just getting changed in front of us. And we were both just like,
Lost for words.
We were just like, we didn't really know what to do in the moment. We were just like I looked at him and he looked at me, and he was just like, oh, okay, okay, and I was like, well, that's interesting. And then later that night, we were all like, just before the show started, we're all sitting in the green room, and I had been telling Raymond Watts, I was like, it's a really weird feeling, like, touring with you, because like I started listening to KMFDM when I was 14.
I still listen to them. I love them.
Yeah, me too. And like the Nile album, it was a huge influence on me in my teen years. And he like put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, dude, that's so cool, man. Like, I'm so glad to have you here. And like, he was so nice. And Ash, who is very German, extremely German. He just has this German look on his face always. Very nice man, very soft spoken, doesn't say a lot, but the guy is a professional. The guy is one of the truest professionals I've actually ever met.
Takes pride in what he does.
Yeah, he really does. And, you know, he's a very patient, very soft-spoken guy, but extremely hardworking and talented. And actually, the whole time we were touring, in between like every set and everything, he was either intonating his guitar. He would restring and intonate his guitar before every show.
Wow.
And then he was also working on stuff on the laptop. And I was like, what are you working on? And he was just like, some new music. And I was like, oh, cool. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, anything you can tell me about it? And he was just like, maybe not. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. Okay. And anyway, he liked joking around and liked having a bit of fun, I guess. And we're in the back room at Bar 13. And he looks at me and he's just sitting there like this. He's just like, and he goes, psst, psst. And I'm like, and I look over at him and he goes, and I'm like, hi, hey, what's up? And he's just like,
come here.
And I was like, okay. So I like lean over to him and he looks at me and he points to Raymond and he goes, ask him what he wants. And I'm like, what? And he's like, ask him what and he's got kind of a German accent. He's like, ask him what he wants. And I'm like, okay. And I go over and I'm like, hey, Raymond, sorry to interrupt you. I don't know what is going on here with NS. He told me to ask you what you want. And he looks at me and he goes, and he looks at NS and I look at NS and Raymond looks back at me and he goes, he's fucking with you.
He got you.
Yeah. And I was like, and I turn around and he just looks at me and just goes, and then turns away. And I was just like, okay. So yeah, you know, not a great, amazing story by any means, but you know, just funny stuff that with people's character, you know, like you meet some interesting characters on the road and
you do,
you know, you prank each other and stuff and
you have some fun, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
You have to keep it going, keep yourself sane.
You really do. So for young guys getting into drumming and stuff, what kind of advice can you give them for playing live shows?
Oh, honestly, my biggest advice for anybody like just looking to start playing live, and like getting taken seriously by touring bands and stuff, get really like second nature good at playing to a click.
Yes.
And backing tracks and things like that. The sooner you get that locked in, that instantly makes you like 10 times more desirable.
That's true.
As a professional, and that like you're just gonna get hired for way more gigs. Because a lot of the time they won't even ask, like they'll just assume. And if you go in and you're not like
locked
and you're not mega tight on the click, they just won't call you back. So like. Yeah, definitely take the time, make the click, you know,
it's important.
Make the click your sub and you gotta just roll with it and get really good at that. I was like OCD about drumming when I started, so that's something I kind of like started getting into early on. Because I had a pointer from somebody else be like, hey, learn that. That's like mega important. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. And so yeah, that's like my biggest advice is get used to playing to backing tracks and stuff like that. Get used to what it feels like to wear in-ears and how you want to have them sit, whether you run them inside your shirt or outside your shirt. Figure out right away whether you like to drum in shoes or in socks.
Shoes or socks?
So it depends.
Okay.
If I play on a hard surface floor, I wear just my socks. But if I play on a thin riser stage or a drum riser, I always feel like I'm going to put my foot through the floor for whatever reason.
It's a little protection.
Yeah, so I wear shoes when I play those gigs, and it just feels a little more full, I guess, for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's a comfort thing, and that's interesting.
That in all fairness, that might just be OCD. I don't know.
Has to feel a certain way.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm socks. What do you, T?
So I was just going to say, you know, it's really funny that you brought that up. My whole life, I've always played in either Converse or Vans slip-on
shoes.
Oh, nice.
And the last, I'm going to say about a year and a half, I've played in my socks. And for whatever reason, I'm having the hardest time transitioning back
to shoes.
Into shoes.
You get a better slide with the sock than you do with the shoe.
Yeah.
Especially playing like the punk beat, right?
Yeah.
The fast punk beat.
Yeah, like the heel toe style feel. probably feels a little bit more natural in the sock. But yeah, if I'm playing like very driving stuff, like when I toured with Ape in 2019, which I should mention, I'm not like in their band or anything like that. I just toured with them for one tour, which I was very grateful for. It was super fun. It taught me a lot. But like I always said to those guys that the type of drumming it is, it's like the put your foot through the drum kind of very driving, very hard hitting. Stu really hits hard. So like most of those shows that we did, I played in shoes actually as a result. But yeah, so that's ultimately how I look at it, is if it's really hard hitting driving stuff, maybe the shoes. But if it's like more finesse stuff, maybe like proggy and a little bit looser feeling, maybe the sock's better.
Now let me ask you guys this: what about bare feet?
Never.
Yeah, like I get it.
Never.
I've tried it before.
Yeah.
And the sweatiness and the pedal just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, it's not for me. It's not for me, but I've seen it.
Yeah.
And actually, come to think of it, not a drummer, but I saw a couple years ago, I saw Steven Wilson from Porcupine Tree.
Okay.
He was doing like a solo tour. And that guy, now he's a guitarist and singer, but he plays in bare feet on stage, and he runs around the stage in bare feet, and it was like the weirdest thing. I thought I was so weird, and like, and it's got to be weird because like he's like stepping on pedals and stuff a lot, and I'm just like, that little tiny pedal switch, that's got to hurt after a while.
Oh yeah,
on the barefoot.
Yeah. So Porcupine Tree, what's their drummer's name? He's amazing. Check him out if you haven't checked him out.
Yeah, Gavin Harrison.
Gavin Harrison.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, one of my bigger influences for sure. Yeah, I love that guy.
So yeah,
Learned a lot watching him play. Yeah.
Yeah, very inspirational for sure.
Oh, wild. He does this thing. If you ever see his little drum solo he does on the Late Show on David Letterman, they had like a drum solo week, and he played on that. And he did this part where he was doing a solo on the toms, and he had a little tube hooked up to the hole in his floor tom, and he put the other end in his mouth and blew into it. And as he was hitting it, it would be like, so it's changing the tone. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Neat. You know, watching stuff like that's how you pick up stuff. Like I said earlier, watching drummers. I remember one of the first drummers I got into, aside from Neil Peart, was Carl Palmer. And from ELP. And I used to love this drum solo that Carl Palmer did in the early 70s, where at the end of the solo, he's doing all these crazy double kicks and cymbal hits and stuff. And he plays traditional grip faster than I've seen anyone do it. And he's just got no more available limbs. So he's got this like plug that hangs on a string, and he puts it in his mouth, grabs it, and goes and pulls it, and it triggers a lever that hits a gong. And he's
another
just
string
doing,
over here
going,
for something else.
Dong. Yeah,
That's funny.
That's
yeah, neatest idea. Like,
Right.
I have yet to do that. Maybe one day.
Right? Maybe one day.
Maybe.
So, Jake, how did you become a working drummer? And what did it take in place for you to achieve that?
Honestly, this is going to sound hilarious, but you know what makes a working drummer is actually getting fired from a band,
And then learning.
a professional band. You know, when the first time someone like a band lets you go professionally and says, "Hey man, I'm sorry, we love you, but we just need somebody a little more professional." It like, you're just like, what? Like, oh man. And that kind of was like I was pretty young.
Splash of water on the face.
Yeah. I was like, it is a big wake up call, you know, and I was just like, oh man, I got to dial it in. So yeah, that's like a big thing for me, is like realizing that I had work to do, you know, to get better and be more reliable. And I used to be really kind of obsessed with having my own style and having my own image and doing my own thing and showboating sometimes as well, because I get hyped up. And you know, I started to realize it was actually a friend of mine who's passed away, Matt Wagner, who I was talking about earlier from the band Alpha Galati's. He once told me, he said, don't necessarily try to be the drummer you want to be in a band. Try to be the drummer they need you to be.
Right. Yeah. For the song.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was just, and that kind of really put things in perspective from a professional point of view. Yeah.
And set you straight. So what are some of the key ingredients that you could give people for, wanting to become a working drummer?
Networking is huge. Networking, getting to know people, whether they are other bands, club owners who are frequently meeting bands because they're having them come and play. Get to know any of your friends who produce. They know bands and are meeting bands all the time. Get a card and hand your card out. Get on TikTok. TikTok's huge for drumming right now. Get on TikTok, get on YouTube, get on shorts of you doing not just crazy stuff. Don't like make a video of you trying to do something super crazy because like everybody does that. And at that point, you're a dime a dozen. You know what they really want to see is you doing a flawless 4 on the floor.
Pocket.
Yeah, pocket stuff, right? And be like, now that is what we're looking for this, tragically hip tribute that we want to hire a drummer for or whatever, right? And it's like, that may not be the gig that you want, but that's the gig that's going to pay you.
Well, that's a foot in the door, and then it kind of evolves from there. So
so I just started doing that more or less, and that kind of got me some contacts with some tribute bands and stuff. And again, do I want to be known for playing tribute music? Not really, but man, like that's how you meet people and that's how you get paid. Yep. Like it's just the reality that'll get you playing not only clubs, but it'll get you playing festivals and stuff like that. Like the Rib Fests and stuff like that are always hiring good cover bands. That's true. And if you can get on those, like I remember one year I was in this tribute band, funny enough, a tragically hip tribute band. We signed a contract to play these Rib Fests, and we played like 17 of them.
That's a lot.
One year.
Wow.
And they just kept coming back and being like, yeah, you want to play the next one? You want to play the next one? So like, yeah.
But be honest with us.
Yeah.
You eat ribs every time.
You know what's funny?
Every time. Come
on. I actually don't really eat red meat.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I almost eat
just pink meat.
Yeah, exactly, right?
See, it's a good job we asked the question because we just learned something, right? We just learned something about you.
Adam's going to be driving home later, and he's going to be like, that was really funny what I said.
I'm going to Chuck's.
Well, salmon. I'm talking salmon here, guys.
Oh, man. I've always been a huge bird meat kind of guy. Man. Yep. Love the poultry.
Poultry's great.
Yeah, man. I live for it.
I gravitate towards it as well.
It's... Why does it have to be so expensive, though?
Because everyone likes it. The stupid formula they have out there.
Son of a gun.
Too funny. Well, T, guess what time it is?
It's the Paradiddle Challenge time.
Oh, yeah. Jake, are you ready?
I hope so.
Let's see what you got. So we're going to start you off at 100 BPM.
Okay.
And we'll go up in increments about 20.
Sounds fun.
Let's see what we can do.
Let's give it a try.
He's got that locked in. Here's 120.
He's got that there.
Yeah. 140. Here we go. Okay.
All right.
You wobbled there a bit, but you got it.
I did wobble.
Let's go to
you want to go 150?
Uh, 140.
140
140 it is.
140 it is.
Good try, my friend. Thank you.
Do you have anything to say about the Rudiment Challenge?
I do. It's a great challenge and a solid reminder. Practice your rudiments, boys and girls.
Well, Jake, that was an amazing challenge. You did pretty good there.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, oh man, like isn't it evidently so important to practice that stuff?
It really is.
It just goes to show you, right? Like if you're playing a lot of gigs and stuff like that, you're probably not practicing your paradiddles a lot.
Yeah.
But the more you practice them, I'm telling you, you will get more gigs, right?
Will. So see how that works?
Yeah. Yeah. So you got to find the balance. You got to find the balance.
It's all about the fundamentals, right?
Yeah.
What do you think are the 3 most important rudiments every drummer should have in their pocket or toolbox?
I honestly, a lot of the time, I make up my own because, like,
Interesting.
yeah, I really do kind of make up my own. Like, I do the standard, right, left, right, left, right, left, left. Like that's probably like the one people should practice the most because that's going to teach you some really good independence.
Singles and doubles. Right?
Yeah, singles and doubles, and get your hands used to those and wrists used to those motions. Remember you were talking about muscle memory earlier? Yeah, that's probably like the most important one for muscle memory. But I also do. I really like linear drumming as well. So I do a lot of I'll go from singles up to like eighth notes and try to see if I can do 16ths with one hand until it gets too fast and I can't actually do the 16th with one hand.
Okay.
And I just go back and forth. So I'll go like 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 and then I'll go like 1 2 1 2 1 2
Singles
1 2
and
yeah
doubles,
and
quarters,
then 1 2
eighths,
3
yeah.
1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 and I a lot of that stuff I actually learned from watching Galen when we were on tour. He had like a routine that he would go through and he was doing a lot of stuff like that and I was watching him and I was like, that's pretty cool. I'd like to try that.
Neat.
So yeah.
That's cool. That is.
Yeah, it keeps the hands loose, right? And the more comfortable you are, and again, it comes back, I always say it, repetition is the father of learning.
It really is.
And
Yeah, 100%.
the more you work throughout
Yep.
the basics, the more you could implement them onto the drum kit.
Yep.
And the more variety and creativeness you could get with applying your fills and your patterns. And overall, it just...
Yeah, for sure.
It's such an important aspect of the drums.
Oh yeah, 100%. And as somebody who is like self-taught, I didn't start right off the bat with paradiddles. So it wasn't until like a couple years later where I started learning more of like the importance of making them part of your routine. And you know what? That probably held me back initially.
Right.
Thinking in hindsight now, because there's things I understand now, obviously that I was not even close to understanding at that age. So yeah.
It's neat how that works for sure.
So, Jake, what single piece of advice would you give a drummer who's currently frustrated, thinking about giving it up, lost interest maybe in the drums and the craft of it? You know, what kind of single piece of advice could you give for the young drummers out there today?
Really, I would say just be honest with yourself and really think and think to yourself, ask yourself, why do I do it? Why do I like drumming? Why did I start drumming? And then why did I stop drumming? And if the reason that you started is a way better reason than the reason you quit, then don't quit.
That's a good way to look at it.
And because honestly, like it's really hard for music to distract from your life in the sense of it being destructive. For the most part, music's a very positive impact on people's lives.
Agreed.
And it's having even if it's just a simple hobby, having that hobby is gonna keep you going, keep you interested, keep just keeping everything flowing. It's like anything, you know what I mean? Like if at one point you had to learn how to swim when you were a kid. And you could say to yourself, well, I don't like swimming. I'm just never going to bother to try again. You might miss out on some cool stuff in your life, maybe, or like, I'm never going to drive. I'm never going to learn how to drive a car. You're going to miss out on a lot of things. So, while I understand that, playing an instrument can be at times very frustrating, and sometimes it can feel like even you're hitting a dead end. Don't give up. Just be humble and
Persevere.
just keep looking for the answer. Just keep looking for the answer because somebody has it. Somebody has it. And once you figure it out, boom, you can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to take a day or two to recoup yourself and just get your head out of that space and kind of start fresh.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, just stay positive. Music is healing. It's empowering. It's for confidence building. It's a communicator, and it's I would even go as far to say that it's spiritual.
Yeah.
So
Different levels for sure.
yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the new record that's coming out with Android MAME. I'm sure you guys are pretty excited about that.
Yeah, so we're going a little bit slower with this one because we've been releasing each single one at a time, and we're working on a concept for an album called War. The idea is, we're big history buffs, and we love. We as a band, we love things like spy movies, and like action thrillers and stuff like that, and war dramas and all of that stuff. Government conspiracy content. We think that's very interesting, and we've kind of taken that and we've looked at it to the point where so much of history has been physical, and from the context of seeing it, touching it, or being overwhelmed by it. And it isn't the same anymore. Now everything is information.
It's true.
And the biggest conflict in our lives is which information do we trust? Which information is good for me? Which information is bad for me?
So much.
And the idea behind War is that as people, we're in this constant state of struggle between, reality and very intricately woven lies, whether it's designed for someone else's gain,
Mostly.
or just to hold us back from achieving our own potential.
Greatness.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're very much. The last album started kind of beginning to ask those questions, and now this album is going to be very much the confrontation of that environment.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm excited. So what song did you bring today? We're going to share that with everybody today.
Yeah, so we just put out a new single earlier this month called Deep State Daddy. Ooh. And Deep State Daddy is a mixture between a parody and also a bit of a warning, though. Okay. It's the idea that we've gotten to the point where information can be so unreliable at times that we don't know what the truth is. And there's literally a conspiracy for everything nowadays. Nice. Some of them are true, some of them are totally false. And unfortunately, we live in a society where we have to figure out which ones are holding us back and which ones are going to save us.
Right.
And maybe that's the way we'll find out who's really pulling the strings.
Yeah.
So that's what Deep State Daddy's about. And can't wait for you guys to hear it.
Yeah, here it comes now.
Let's check it out.
Check it out.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Jake, for coming in today to Drummers Paradise, sitting down, talking with Adam and I. We truly had a good time. We hope you had enjoyed yourself and had a good time with us. And we wish you all the best on everything you got going on, your new album, new single, everything. If anybody wants to follow more of Jake's drumming, we can find you on your socials, right?
You bet you can.
That's it.
Yeah, we'll put the links in the description below so you can get everything in there.
Yeah.
And everyone can find it easily.
Absolutely. Guys, seriously, thanks so much. Like, this is awesome.
Thank you.
I'm really honored to be there. I've got such a tremendous amount of respect for both of you guys.
Oh, thanks.
And
you as well.
And for what you're doing here. Like, we're keeping the community going,
Yes.
you know, and it's all about you know, helping each other out and working together for that collective exposure. This is a great podcast. What a great idea. And I'm stoked to see how this grows the community.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We all are, and appreciate your nice words. You know,
Oh
it means
man,
a
no,
lot.
anytime.
Work in progress, but we'll make it the best that we can.
Oh
for
man,
sure. We
seriously,
have the drive.
I loved it. Thank you so much, guys.
Hey, no
Thanks so
problem.
much.
No
Really
problem.
appreciate you.
Thank you for coming as well. We appreciate you.
You're very welcome.
Thanks.
Well, until next time, everyone.
Hey, keep grooving and have fun.
And remember to hit that like and subscribe button and the notification bell on all our social media listed down below.
Yeah, see you next time.
In paradise.
Whoa,